Let's get it, one way or another. The name is Law Nation. Be sure on your way in to smash that like button. Let a friend or neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboy Sports Talk and beyond. Really appreciate each and every last one of you all. Stay tuned for this particular episode for the information. The giveaway will be on the latter end, and I really appreciate those who hit me up on the website. Let's get it. One day at a time, one movement at a time, brick by brick, we stack these things together. For the weather. Yo. You say ain't no party like a cowboy party. What about a Law Nation groove? Appreciate those who are out here, you already know. Mic check 1, mic check 2, and 3. Come on. Imitated, but never duplicated, baby. One thing we all adore, something worth dying for. There's nothing but pain. We're stuck in this game, searching for fortune and fame. Let's go. All right. Album coming out late September, early October. Let's go. Turn me up. Come on. Yo. What's up, everybody? Appreciate everybody for jumping in. All right, so I'm going to get right to it. Everything circles around Dak Prescott, by the way, and people must know and people must understand and realize that this team in the offseason, these are the things that's always been brought up, what Jerry Jones done said, right? And, of course, Mike McCarthy. We've been going back and forth about, his plan, his mindset with his team and the knowledge area of what the Cowboys should do and what they shouldn't do or what have you. But the reality is that this guy back is against the wall, and we're going to bring that up, too, in this particular episode. I really appreciate you guys so much for being part of this process of waiting to Oxnard. But here's the thing, the truths of it all. Cowboy Nation, we all got to wait. And on top of that, the reality of it, the Cowboys having this issue as it relates to the unknown. And you already know, we don't know about this wide receivers, right? That's the big area. And, of course, this offensive line. Those are the two biggest points. Everything else the same. Pretty much. The defense, still the same defense from last year. Mine is a Randy Gregory. Mine is a DeMonte KZ and a Keanu Neal. I think we answered most of those issues as it relates to that this offseason. Ain't this right?
Well, what I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns, but there's also unknown unknowns. Things we don't know that we don't know.
We don't know that we don't know. But let's listen to this.
We're back on NFL Live, and there's always something going down in Dallas, right? This offseason, the team made waves by dealing Amari Cooper to the Browns. That left CeeDee Lamb as the team's top wideout. They also franchise tagged.
Let me know if y'all can hear audio.
Schultz and Dallas still have until July 15th, remember, to reach a multi-year agreement, something Schultz would like to see. And after a season of offensive line instability, Dallas used the 24th overall pick on former Tulsa lineman Tyler Smith. The team hoping Smith will provide starter-level versatility to protect Dak Prescott. Speaking of him, he doesn't have to worry about rehabbing this offseason. Dallas's QB1 is fully healthy after spending the 2021 offseason recovering from that right ankle surgery. Here's Mike McCarthy.
Listen up to what Mike McCarthy have to say about this, and then we're going to dive into details of everything else. Really appreciate you, everybody that's watching, just tuning in. Shout out to you, Jamal. Appreciate you, Mark. Appreciate you, C. Burleson. Let's go. C. Nix. Appreciate you for jumping in. Shout out to you, Aladdin, the Magic. Appreciate you, man, for jumping in as well.
I think like anything, it's just, this is year 3 in the offense. The opportunity to move more, potentially than he did in the past, as far as what he's being asked to do. I think he's clearly, the thing that jumps out to me is his movement ability in the scramble drills and scramble situations. The way he activates the scramble drills. So just, he's got more reps at it. It's more natural to him. So it looks really good.
Mina, how much of a difference will Dak's mobility make this season, getting back to what we kind of know him as a quarterback at that position?
No doubt, no doubt. So this is Mina. She's finna go into details. Shout out to her. You guys can listen to majority of the things on her Twitter account where she goes into details too. All right, so she's going to break down the Dak Prescott philosophy as far as, how he played when he was hurt or what have you, and things that he didn't really come out to say. But that's a story of a different day. Let's just listen to what she have to say first.
Well, it's huge, Laura. I mean, Dak is not a dual threat quarterback in the sense you're not going to lean heavily on the designed runs, but he is mobile, and at his best, the threat of him scrambling, throwing on the move is a big part of what's made this Cowboys offense so dangerous when he's healthy. And last season, when he did get hurt, I think it's a big part of the reason why that offense struggled after week 6. Before then, on designed rollouts and scrambles, Dak was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. After the injury, his numbers dropped precipitously. I mean, talking about going from a QBR of 93 to 46, not a massive sample size, but it's enough to make a big difference in this offense where you want him on the move. And that's why I think hearing, he's healthy and he's going to be, at full strength coming back has to be tremendously encouraging for Dallas, because his health is I would say, the single biggest reason why they struggled last year. Yeah.
Now, they go into the details of the health aspect. Appreciate everybody for watching. See, Nick said there was no notification. Hey, if you guys are watching, let me know if you got notifications or not. Good. That's okay, man. That's okay, man. It's all good.
You could not live with your own failure.
Y'all let me know, man. Let me know if you guys got the notifications. If not, that's okay. We still going to grind and push this out. We understand that's just how the algorithm is going. But it is what it is at this point. You can't stop a tank with no key. They try to reset the platform, but that's okay. That's okay.
So much of the overall scheme in the NFL offensively has changed, right? With quarterbacks, and Dominican, that you want to see be mobile in some way, shape, or form, and causing nightmares sometimes for defense. And so when you think about Dak specifically in his mobility, how does your approach defensively change?
Yeah, he has that threat to get outside the pocket and really hurt you. So as a defensive line, you really think in the back of your head, yes, I want to get after him. I want to put that pressure on him. But at the same time, you got to be conscious. If he gets outside that pocket, gets outside that edge, it's a problem. And we're going to be in a huge foot race, especially if we're playing man-to-man coverage. So it's a definitely a difficult thing that we have to focus on.
Definitely and difficult. Mess Sue up, boy. He couldn't say that word at all. He said, let's rewind to what Sue had to say. That word, that word evaded the sack, because he couldn't sack that word right there. What?
Foot race, especially if we're playing man-to-man coverage. So it's a definitely a difficult thing that we have to focus on. And we're going to be in a huge foot race, especially if we're playing man-to-man coverage. So it's a definitely a difficult thing that we have to focus on and really be very cognizant about.
Yeah, it's funny when those quarterbacks.
Hey, man, that boy, that definitely difficult word really was difficult for him. As much sacks and pressure that he had in the National Football League, that was a lot of pressure for him. You talking about a tongue twister. I'm ruminating a little bit to spare some time. Let me check some things with my back end. But let's listen to definitely difficult for Sue. Don't sack me, Sue, when you see me alive in person.
definitely a difficult thing that we have to focus on by that edge. It's a problem. And
man, we going to play this for 1,000 hours. Let's listen to it again.
Yes, I want to get after him. I want to put that pressure on him. But at the same time, I got to be conscious. If he gets outside that pocket, gets outside that edge, it's a problem. And we're going to be in a huge foot race, especially if we're playing man-to-man coverage. So it's a definitely a difficult thing that we have to focus on and really be very cognizant about.
Yeah, it's funny when those quarterbacks really do actually mean you have to change what you're doing schematically because you have to think about what they bring to the table. And along those lines, Key, CeeDee Lamb now forced into the position
CeeDee Lamb
with Amari Cooper gone. He said he's ready for that. He's been it in college, but is he really a number one receiver at the NFL level?
No doubt, man. Hey, that happens all the time, Warriors. Yeah, I'm just trying to give him a hard time. The Cowboys, show of hands for those who watching right now. Do you or would you like to see Sue in silver and blue? Yes or no? Or do we feel confident that Osa, Neville Gallimore, Carlos Watkins, as well as who else? John Ridgway can get the job done. And Chauncey Gardner. Chauncey Golston. I'm thinking of Chauncey Gardner, but Chauncey Golston. That's just me getting the universe getting back at me because I got Ed Sue. Would you guys like to see that in a silver and blue uniform? Just if it's difficult. Is it definitely difficult? Definitely. However, is it difficult for the Cowboys to pick up the phone? Definitely. It's difficult for them to say, hey, so we see you on TV, man. You look sharp up there, and we just want to put a cherry on your career by putting the silver and blue on you. Would that be a situation? Warrior says Sue is old. Nah, we got some young bulls here. I feel you on that. I absolutely feel you on that. Are you guys really valuing the age aspect of it? Is age a situation and scenario to run you away from certain players? Because I think that's what happened to Hakeem Hicks that went to the Buccaneers as well. He was a long in the tooth, and I kind of polled majority of you guys, and y'all was like, nah, man, he's too long in the tooth, right? Anthony Barr, that's a long tooth right now. I think he's 30 to 31 years of age. So age is an issue. Let me know, Cowboy Nation. Sue got some dog in him still. This is from Verdi. Appreciate you. So we need to know. But neither here nor there. Let's listen to Keys.
College is different than the pros, and both of you know that. I think he could be ready. I don't know that he is yet. And when you think about a number one, let's not even use 1 and 2, a guy who's the lead dog in the passing game. Okay, I don't know that he's ready to be the lead dog in the passing game yet, because it's one thing to get the second and the third corner opposed to all pro guys, lead dogs at that position. When you're starting to be double teamed, their linebackers are buzzing out underneath slant routes looking to knock your head off, or your safety sliding over the top of you and they're rolling coverage to you on a constant basis, it's way different than being the number 2 guy where they're not even really paying you attention and they're not game planning for you every single week. Now, can he do it? Yeah, he did it. He did it before at Oklahoma. I think he can. I just don't know. It's just hard to say. Most number 1 receivers don't slide into the role. They come in as the number 1. Think about what I'm saying. They come in as 1.
Well, also, he's got to hold on to the football, too. When
he got a lot of dropsies.
Yeah, we were.
All right, so that's CeeDee Lamb. And shout out to C. Nix. I see your comment down there. It said, hey, he had an interview with the Volumes or what have you. I probably had to check it out or what have you to listen in. Here's my thing. The Volume is cool. I roll with the Volume, but I just don't mess with Colin Cowherd. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't, I just don't mess with Colin Cowherd. It's just like if Skip Bayless were to get a episode independently on YouTube. I'm like, he'd probably be good, but I just don't roll with him. So that's my stance on it. So shout out to what they do over there. I just don't F with them. That's just my thing. It's one thing a man should always do, mainly to himself be true. You guys know what I'm saying when I say that, and I mean it. So I really don't fox with them like that. Let's just do it like that. But neither here nor there. Maybe off air or something like that, I was listening to what he had to say or what have you on an interview on that side of the coin. But neither here nor there do I think that CeeDee Lamb can become one of those number one wide receivers in the National Football League. I think he is. I really think, as I pull up my sheet of notes here, I think that he can get the ultimate number as it relates to productivity that we looking for out of that wide receiver grouping. It still goes to this, the area of the unknown. And on top of that, it goes to this thing right here, what I said. I said what I said about, should we bring in things to help alleviate some of the pressure? Should we? I really think we should. Because I look back at this right here, Cowboy Nation. Cooper Kupp, I don't think that there was a better wide receiver last year as it relates to productivity than Cooper Kupp. And all that we seen that the LA Rams were doing, let's bring in more pieces around to help him out. Let's bring in a speed receiver that can take the top off the defense. You remember when they went and got Deshaun Jackson? Although it didn't work, they was at least rolling the dice to say, hey, this dude got speed. And it wouldn't be nothing for us to cut him if he don't fit. That is a team looking to win it at all costs. So that's how I look at it, right? I look at it that you got to figure out a way to win at all costs. It may be that you say, hey, man, I get it. We got some young dogs that's on this team that we are trying to win now versus trying to win later. No. You need to figure out ways to win now. And that, my friend, been one of the Achilles heels of the Dallas Cowboys, because they sit back and they say, okay, we okay because this guy's projected to become the number one wide receiver, or this guy's projected to become the number one tight end. But no, you're supposed to continue to better your best. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. I feel y'all what y'all said. Appreciate you.
Playing that video last week, and it kind of shocks you a little bit. Time for one more thing before.
Here they go. They finna talk about my guy, Coach Mike McCarthy. They finna talk about them. Calvin Talley says team be committed for 365. Yeah, they got to be committed for 365. I 1,000,000% agree with that. Watch out for Orlando Magic next year. Come on, Atlanta. Come on. Orlando. That's your team? Is that your team, Orlando? Appreciate you, Ryan. Appreciate you. He said, "Law talk your ish." Yeah, I always talk my mind. That's one thing that we should always do. It's just how it goes. Cowboy Nation and everyone that's listening.
I'm actually buying what Jerry's selling, in part because of this, Max. I'm not sure Sean Payton would want that job. If he does get back into coaching, I don't know that the Dallas Cowboys and being under Jerry Jones is the environment. With everything that Sean Payton has accomplished as a coach, I think we're just connecting dots, from his past, not necessarily, where he would end up in terms of the type of control that he would command at another organization.
All right, so this is talking about the pressure of Mike McCarthy. And as you guys read the title, everything circles around Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy. Why? Well, here's the number one truth. Look, regardless of how we look at it, 2 columns belong to those 2 guys and no one else on this team. If you think I'm lying, you can look it up. And that's the win-loss column. They don't record the win-loss column for the wide receivers, for the running back, nor for the assistant coaches or what have you. It's only for the quarterback. That's a legitimate stat, right? And also for the head coach of this particular team. Now, everyone gets the credit, of course, but neither here nor there. Everything circles around my guy, Mike McCarthy. My guy also, Coach Marv, who tuned into the show last night. We was talking about some of the similar things of what he said in the super chat. He said, no law. Mike McCarthy, and I'm going to speak and paraphrase this or what have you. He said Mike McCarthy have to be that pretty much mentor over Kellen Moore. I believe Mike McCarthy looked at this whole entire landscape and said, you know what? If I take off and call the plays myself, I lose all leverage if things go from sugar to you know what. And I get it. The hand-picked coach to be the assistant coach, basically, who's the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys, came from Jerry Jones and said, hey, we will hire you, but you got to hire my grandson, which is Kellen Moore. I'm just speaking and jokingly saying that he's his grandson. But you guys get what I'm saying. We all know what's going on. And that is the reality of it. Let's listen to more of this right here.
Jeremy, how long is the leash, so to speak, for McCarthy in Dallas?
Well, Max, after asking around, I continue to hear that the Cowboys don't have a hard shelf life on McCarthy's tenure right now. They're taking this season at face value. Like Jerry Jones said, there is no speculation right now. They believe that he can be successful. They believe there was a lot of progress last year. Now, how they win and lose will be important because there were concerns coming off last year, especially in the playoffs, about situational football and how McCarthy handled that. So the Cowboys want to see progress in that area. But, this is a situation where Jerry Jones, despite his unpredictability, has shown faith in past coaches like Jason Garrett, got a very long shelf life with his tenure. So it's not a slam dunk, at least from my view, that they're making some sort of move or plotting something 5 or 6 games into the season.
No doubt. And here's the 1,000 truths here, Cowboy Nation, as we talk about this on a scale of what Mike McCarthy having his hiccups in his playoff game that was recently last year. Here's the 1,000 truths. He should have stepped up in that playoff game and said, you know what? I got to give my playmakers the ball. In the interview with CeeDee Lamb's wide receiver coach last night, we was talking about some of the same sentiments there. Like, if that's your playmaker, there's no way that you leave the game. It's 60 minutes in the game, and you only have 5 attempts thrown his way, and him with only 1 reception and 5 incompletions. There's no way. There's no way. You got to look into this thing and say, all right, this is the playmaker. This dude, this is the playoff. There's no time to say, hey, I'm saving, I'm holding back. Nor I don't want to showcase all of the things or I'm worried about injuries or what have you. You got to lay it all on the line in the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. If this rascal averaged 8.4 yards per tote as it relates to running the ball, it's the playoff time. There's no tomorrow. There's no next week. There's only the day that you are living in, and the ground that you're walking on is only present and presented upon you now. It may not be there an hour from now. So you got to play lights out. You absolutely do. So if this guy's averaging 8.4 yards per tote and he's not really involved into the game, you as the head coach got to look over to the young play caller, who I believe that was his first time ever calling plays in the playoff. I could be wrong. No, I'm right, actually. That was his first time ever calling plays in the playoff, and there should be no levels of excuses for this. But you have to look into this and say, all right, cool. I'm going to march over there. I got playoff experience. This is the reason why I'm here. I'm going to call the plays. I'm going to give my playmakers the ball. Whether it been as it relates to last season, Amari Cooper, who did score a touchdown, by the way, in the playoff. Tony Pollard, the most explosive player that you have on this particular team last season. You can't leave the game with 4 touches. With CeeDee Lamb, you can't leave the game with 1 catch. You can't. Don't matter. It don't. And especially now, Paul, you got a good saying there. Paul says, especially when your job is on the line. My guy Asmodi says, nah, Law, like y'all said last night, gotta let Jerry OC fall on his face. Well, yeah, we gotta let him fall on his face. That's what we said last night. Yeah, you're right. But at this point, they are already flirting with the idea of bringing in Sean Payton. And like I said, too, I don't think that there will be a tomorrow as it relates to a next season for Mike McCarthy if he don't win a playoff game. And I can literally say for the 2022 season, if he don't win multiple playoff games, there will be no tomorrow. There will be no, hey, that was only his 3rd year, wait till his 4th year, everybody. No, I think that his leash is this short. Dak Prescott is okay because of the way his contract is circumvented right now. So we're not talking about Dak, but we're talking about the coach. Short leash. Appreciate you, Paul. Yeah. Let me see if I can pull up comments right quick. I appreciate y'all so much, man. Appreciate you. Law, who drives? I appreciate everybody for jumping in, by the way. Law, who drives in a race and only uses 1 gear? Playmakers should have been unleashed. Yeah, this is Jay Worthy. Appreciate you, man, so much, man. You got to flirt with the ideal because Jerry saying they're not winning this year. Hey, Charlie, I feel you, man.
Tim, the Cowboys had a lot of regular season wins last year, but they haven't won too many playoff games, I don't know, since the late 90s, right? How far does McCarthy need to take this team to call this a successful season?
Yeah, look, I think he needs to win playoff games. I think he needs to probably end up, I'm not saying he needs to go to the NFC Championship game to keep his job, but I think that the expectations have changed. Last year there was a lot of talk about, with Dak Prescott being back, how good the team could possibly be, but I don't think that anybody really viewed them as a Super Bowl contending team going into last season. I think expectations have changed now. And I think that while they're not, listed as a favorite like the Rams or the Packers or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I do think there's a feeling that they should be good enough to at least be competing in that mix.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
Every year the Cowboys are listed as a favorite of going to the Super Bowl or bust. So y'all can't name me a year to say, hey, man, this team would not make it to the Super Bowl. Since 2000 and maybe 6, this team been, hey, man, wait till next year. They going to the Super Bowl. All of the pundits, all of the critics, all of anybody that have a camera to the face on these networks been saying the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl, man. And every year we've been let down slowly, right? Regardless of how we look at it, think about this. Even Jason Garrett had only 2 losing seasons, right? 2 losing seasons in his long time coaching here as the head coach. Let me know where I'm wrong. 2 losing seasons. I'm not counting the season that he started midway of. 2 losing seasons. And that was because of his quarterback went down. Right? So, here's the thing. It's Modi is the same old song every day. Nothing less. Or it could have only been 1. Well, how many losing seasons Jason Garrett had, right? Was it 15 and only, right? If now that I'm thinking of it. He only had 1. I'm wrong. He only had 1 losing season, right? Let me know if I'm wrong. One. That 2015, it just hit me. I was wrong. Only 2015. Every other year been 8-8 or just enough to get you into the playoffs. Right? But neither here nor there. 2016, all the way up until this moment, Cowboy Nation, you've been under Dak Prescott. Everything circles around him. And the Cowboys, hear me out, everyone, the Cowboys been in the spotlight of Super Bowl or bust, right? Appreciate you, Monet. Says only 2015. That's crazy in his own self, right? Only one losing season. The ESPN talk more about the Cowboys than the Rams. Ryan, appreciate you. He says, do you think the Cowboys will fire? I know you meant to say Mike McCarthy, but Mink McCarthy. That big boy back is against the wall, and I did a video like this before. We would know everything we want to know about Mike McCarthy for this particular year. And Mike McCarthy, if he's sitting on his hands and he feel like, hey, we good with the wide receiver core, we don't need to go get another dynamic player, that's good with me, right? If that's what he believe, he's out there at practice every day, right? If he truly believe that this offensive line is straight, then we just have to roll with what we got. If he truly believe that Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott as a 1-2 combo is good and Gucci, then we good. If they truly believe, because I really believe that the coaching staff plays a pivotal role in some of these negotiations, especially of who they want to keep as it relates to tight end play. If they truly believe, Cowboy Nation, that we're going to get back to 12 personnel and lined up Dalton Schultz as the premier tight end for this particular team, and we didn't need to go out there in the free agent market or pool to dive in there to pull someone else up out to bring forth some competition. If they truly believe that Dalton Schultz and Jake Ferguson can get the job done, then we got to roll with it, unfortunately. Craig got the stats up there. 1 losing seasons, 4 500 seasons. Appreciate you, Hutchinson. Hutchins, man, appreciate you. Oh, my gosh. Paul says Ferguson and Schultz administration is finna start right now. Let's see. Gabriel says, nah, the Eagles going to win with a running back playing a quarterback. All right, man, let's listen to this, man. Mike McCarthy is in trouble. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Look, there's no... Who sung the song? Ain't no way around it. Ain't no way around it. Is that Future? I need to figure out the lyrics. Somebody hit me up with the lyrics, put them in the chat. Ain't no way around it, because Mike McCarthy, believe it or not, like Ripley's, his back is against the wall. Future, yeah, appreciate you. Big Flock, appreciate you, man. Ain't no way around it.
And so I think because of that, I don't think you can be one and done in the wild card round of the playoffs and feel good about your standing.
Jeremy, what do you think about that? I mean, they did improve significantly from year 1 to year 2 under Mike McCarthy. So is he being overly criticized, or is that legitimate? What Tim just said, it sounds legit. I mean, it seems like a reasonable standard to me. Eventually, you got to win some playoff games. Where are you?
No.
You know what? It hit me, baby. It hit me like a sack of bricks. It really did. This information, I'm going crazy. I'm losing my mind right now. You know what? What I'm going to do, since we got 200 people up in here watching, let's do the giveaway now before I give you guys what really, it just hit me. It just flat out hit me, Cowboy Nation. And it's sad, man. It is a flat out shame. It's shame. It just hit me.
Shame.
God, dog.
Shame.
This is crazy.
Shame.
I can't make this up, Cowboy Nation. Oh, my gosh, man. I can't. I want to, but I can't. I can't make this up at all, and that's the sad part about it, man. It is flat out the sad part about it, man. Let's
Yeah. I just wanna run it up.
It just hit me, baby.
Check or something. I've been really in the field, let up. Yeah.
Final word night too.
I've been really in the field.
We're gonna give away this beautiful hat to those who hit me up on my Law Nation Sports website. They left a comment, and we got 22 entries. Now, I know that this is the year 22, but there's also, I always love numbers, right? They let me know that I got 22 real ones who went to my website to leave me some feedback, which was very beautiful. Bottom of my heart, I want to give back to the people who gave to me. And I got 22 soldiers named that's in here that went to lawnationsports.com to help elevate the nation. I really appreciate y'all, and I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. If y'all need anything in life, I got you all. You see, there'll be many of people that say they roll with you, but there'll only be a few that really follow you. So let's listen into this right here. Let's go. Call it too legit.
I've been really in the field. Come on. Let her rush, I let her feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. I have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Yeah. Counter check or something.
Winner at? Come on.
Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Who that winner is? Oh, it was no. They run it again. Run it again.
Lately, I just wanna run it up.
That'll be a blank spot right there. Come on.
I just be off the dome.
Come on.
I never own no chrome. Too many foes and clones. Yeah. I be at home alone. I be in zones alone. I be on road alone. Yeah. I've been really in the field.
Let me tell y'all about Sally. Man. Oh my gosh. Let me tell y'all about Sally. She is on all of the platforms, Patreon and beyond, the Facebook community, the YouTube. I appreciate you. She hit me up here and there. We really appreciate you for help elevating and growing the nation. So Sally, I got your information. I will mail this out to you. My guy Jay Versick, he won last month giveaway, and he hit me up on the Twitter, and I really appreciate my guy Jay Versick. Now it's Sally. Look, I really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I can't wait to see you again. I think you was out there in Oxnard. We will be out there again for the 2022 season. Look, the year 2022, 22 entries. And on top of that, you are the 2022 winner. I love it. It's all mixed in together. Oh, I can't wait, baby. So let's let her run it up one more time, baby. I love it.
Yeah. I just wanna run it up.
Run it all the way up. Congrats to Sally Lawyer. That's my girl right there, man. All right, so let's listen to more of this.
With all this.
Well, I think there's a little bit of a bias to want to move McCarthy out of there because that's coming from people who didn't like the hire in the first place. And it's a retread situation, so to speak, coming off of Green Bay, had great success there, but not toward the end. And so people want a fresh face. You have a guy like Dan Quinn in there who's got a lot of experience as a defensive coordinator. He would be a candidate, presumably, if they did move on from McCarthy one day. And then the Sean Payton situation looms large. And speaking of Payton, though, he could be in a situation where he wants to wait for the very exact right job and a top 5 quarterback if that were to ever open. Dak Prescott, for as good as he is, largely isn't considered in that top tier echelon. Payton can wait for the right guy. So that doesn't mean he's going to hop on the next job even a year from now. So the Cowboys are only as good as their options, and right now they have a coach who's had a high pedigree and a lot of success in the past.
All right, so here's the thing, Cowboy Nation. Before I go a little bit further, the thing that hit me is that we got all of these topics and all of these conversations and no one mentioning the Cincinnati Bengals. No one mentioning the Cincinnati Bengals. That, my friend, is crazy. Yeah, That's my friend. It's crazy. Yeah, we did have 22 entries, man. And shout out to all of those who hit me up, man. John T. Smith, Deonde, Crawford, Verdi Hinton, Elmatic 7, Jeremy E. Rock, Albert Flores, David Woods, Sally Lawyer, of course, Iceberg Q, Orlando Ratliff, appreciate you, Angel, MN Angel B, appreciate both of you guys, Brandon Ross, Sadiq Wood George, TJ Stewart Green, my guy MVP Lovey, Ishmael, all of those people named that was recorded for the 22 entries on that day hit me up via the website, and I really appreciate you guys. I'm not trying to leave out all of you guys. I know that I got multiple people. I just wanted to make you guys feel good in a certain way. You know, they reached out and immediately went and put their information on the website to help grow this thing, man. I'm telling you guys, independency is the way, and I would not be here if it wasn't for you all that's all here watching, those who even watched and not even subscribed. I really appreciate you guys. I really do. You know, we need everybody. I know that some people don't mess with YouTube like that, and the people that's on the Facebook, they said, Lord, they hit me up, they subscribe there. They said, man, I really don't mess with YouTube, right? Then you got some people that's on Facebook. Well, you got some people on YouTube say they don't mess with Facebook. So I get it, and I got multiple people on Instagram and Twitter and Twitch. I really appreciate you. It's like different worlds as they collide, but we after one common goal, and that's supporting the Cowboy Nation regardless, right? Win, lose, or draw. We are here. We're supporting the team. We want the team to win, and when the team lose, we still here. We going to talk noise about them, right? We ain't going to let them off the hook. Y'all acting like, y'all, look, we gonna talk noise about it like, good old Jerry, why you didn't do this? Why you didn't do that? So that's the whole point of this. But you got to have your independent voice out there. You can't be always tainted or diluted by someone else in your ear, right? So that's the part that we all love about these communities by being on different platforms and channels. Oh, and check out TikTok. Oh, and let me tell y'all something, too. I got to give flowers to my guy, Landlord Alabama. You know, Landlord from Alabama. Y'all be sure to check out my guy YouTube page. Check out his Instagram and his TikTok. I cannot stress this out enough. He reached out a couple of months ago and said, Law, I really want to do this YouTube thing. I really want to do this this content creation. And I told him all it takes, pull out your cell phone, get to talking, and then eventually add pieces together. And Landlord, man, I was strolling through my YouTube feed, and I saw a video that my guy Landlord from Alabama generating over 20,000 views. So in my opinion, I think that he on his way to being Rookie of the Year as it relates to content creation. It's enough views to go around for everyone, and I think that I want to tell you guys that you got to start from somewhere. So I want you guys, man, regardless, your voice is being heard. I like what my guy, Boss Cowboy said, your voice matter. You know, I like all of that. And I believe that your voices need to be heard, your opinions, your thoughts. We all think differently, but we all on the same page as it relates to growing this thing. So do me a huge favor, Cowboy Nation, and everybody that's listening, hit up my guy. I want him to get over 10,000, man, because this dude right here, man, is a testament, you know, to those things that if you put your mind to it, it can eventually happen, but you got to grind to go get it. So there's his channel right there. I just posted it in the comment box, so be sure to check it out, Cowboy Nation. Let's listen in to Get Up right quick about Jerry Jones and his philosophy of Sean Payton and what he thought about Sean Payton.
What is up with Jerry Jones and what he said about Sean Payton yesterday? I want to show everybody the quotes, right? So someone asks him about Sean Payton, and he says, Sean Payton shouldn't be out there. For him, the Cowboys, that's just sheer out of the air. It's well known we're good friends and we think a lot of him as a head coach. But in this case, asking the way you're asking, he shouldn't be a conversation piece. Mike has got an opportunity here to win a Super Bowl. That's really the measurement that I look at. Swagoo, what is up with that?
Gee, this is the worst thing you could hear when you involved with somebody, okay? They tell you somebody shouldn't be single. They should not be in a relationship with themselves. There should be suitors and a guy, and they should be a very highly, you should want them to be a part of who you are. And that's basically what Jerry's saying. When he says Sean Payton shouldn't be available and we're fine with Mike, imagine you telling your wife that. Imagine you
Swaggo. All right, man. So that's the quote right there from Sean Payton from our owner Jerry Jones. And here's the thing, Cowboy Nation. I really, really feel that the mindset and the thought track of this right here is Jerry Jones is circumventing this. And this is intangible applied pressure, meaning that you don't really get a chance to see it, but we know that it's there. It's not tangible. It's intangible. But listen, watch this again. He says Sean Payton shouldn't be out there. For him, the Cowboys, that's just sheer out of the air. And this is the thing, Cowboy Nation, when you read upon all of these things, the small words, they let me know that this particular guy got feelings and emotions still for Sean Payton. I'm going to poll you guys again. Should the Cowboys, and it's the operative word, should the Cowboys have Sean Payton as their next head coach? And I want to know. Appreciate everybody for jumping in because this is the reality of it, unfortunately. I want to know, Cowboy Nation, because this thing is getting crazy as it goes by. This is pressure. This is flat out pressure. Regardless of how you look at it, regardless of how you feel, this is pressure. Mike McCarthy see this going on, right? And as Modia says, Dad quit. You're right. I like Dad quit. I do. Nope. I see some nope. I see Shaquan says, yeah, hell yeah. Yeah. Ryan says yes. Okay, Ryan says yes. Beast 4409 says yes. So right now we're in the middle portions of this.
Man, this lady should not be single. But my wife cool. She all good. We gonna figure out what she is in this marriage over time. The bottom line is this. Jerry could say what he wants to say, G, but we all know and we have watched this movie time and time again. Let Sean Payton show interest that he want to be the Cowboys head coach. It don't matter if Mike McCarthy win the damn Super Bowl. Jerry gonna try to make it happen.
Bull sugar. We still living off of that 95's high. A few of us are, right? And that was with Barry Switzer. So if Mike McCarthy, look, and I'm being real with y'all. If Mike McCarthy win a Super Bowl like this year, don't y'all know how crazy that high would be right now? Shoot. We would look at Jerry and say, man, there will be a riot at the Star in Frisco today. You release that coach, Mike McCarthy, for Sean Payton. I can already tell you guys the float route of the Super Bowl. The float route would be, dog, they going to load up some cars, some vehicles. Hell, I might start the float ride. Get in my whip and say, everybody follow me from the Star in Frisco down there to Arlington. And we're going to come back up through Irving. You know, we're going to just hit up all of the spots that the Cowboys been in the last 20 years. We'll hit up the mayor and say, hey, man, you still want another team in Dallas, you know? Shoot, boy, there'll be a all-time. You think it's a party? Shoot. Be an all-time party around this joint. Boy, we have our shirts off, whirling it over our head, talking about, baby, we finally made it, baby. It's been 26 years and counting, but we made it. Jerry wouldn't be able to get that coach up out of there, you know. We said, no, Jerry, seeing what happened last time, you got rid of a coach who won the Super Bowl, you know. So, no, I don't think. Tailgate that thing. Yeah, Paul, you're right. Let's go.
That's an interesting little part of this story because Jeremy Fowler, you brought up earlier that the Cowboys are not the only team that is going to be very interested in Sean Payton. They're not the only ones who feel like he shouldn't be out there right now if indeed he decides he wants to get back in somewhere. Right, Jeremy?
Yeah, Greeny, he's going to have many options considering there are 9 jobs that opened just last year. There are going to be many more this year. So if he finds a job that's going to have a top 5 to 7 quarterback, a quarterback that he might like better than Dak Prescott, he could pounce on that. You got some big markets out there, whether it's Miami, LA, wherever. There are quarterbacks all over the league. And so he will be the guy to potentially fix a situation that might be broken. And so certainly Dallas could be in the mix. But, Greeny, I continue to hear that Dallas has confidence in Mike McCarthy. Maybe they're just saying the right things right now. But I asked somebody over in that building, and it was recited to me that, hey, he won 12 games last year, a huge swing from the year before. They like the progress. Now, they need to see better situational football from McCarthy and the Cowboys after the way some of the late games went down last year.
If the Cowboys do have confidence in Mike McCarthy, is very shallow for Jerry Jones to even mention another coach in his aspects of looking at the opportunity of where that coach is at. And I don't think that nobody in life, nobody in this chat is feeling sorry for Sean Payton, by the way. I mean, we heard storylines and news and information about even the Dolphins were willing to give him $100 million plus draft capital for him to be the coach in Miami. Show of hands to who been down there in Miami, right? Boy, that place in that area is very nice. And I can only imagine if you had $100 million. And even coaching is coaching. But Miami weather versus coaching in Dallas, you know, and then you got to deal with all the hoopla that the Jones family, and people fail to realize, you know, and he would kiki and smile, but he may be like, man, this dude is nuts. I go to Miami and be a king. I go to Dallas, I'm the prince once again. Shout out to my guy Okoye. He said, would you rather be a prince for a lifetime or a king for a day? You know, I love that saying about him, man. Y'all check out Okoye Media, by the way. But those things speaks very true volumes of how you consider going for a job or what have you. Oh, my gosh, man. But that's just how it goes, Cowboy Nation. He goes over here. Unfortunately, he'll be that prince for a lifetime. But everybody, mama, uncle, cousin know that when you have been the alpha male and you have been the person that walk around in your said home without clothes on, you don't want to start putting your clothes on, if I can make that any more reasonable to some people. In my house, I'm the king here, right? No other man can tell me what to do in the confines of my home because I earned that right. This is my home. That's my responsibilities. But if I go back to mom's crib or what have you, I no longer have those things. Some people can live with mama in them house until they 50 to 60 years of age and say, hey, man, I'm staying with mom. No. Every man, every king needs his own castle.
Well, just a quick final thought on that. Go ahead, Swag. Finish it up.
Yeah, to Jimmy's point, and I'm with y'all know how I am about the Cowboys, but I think this is a conversation about how they're winning and what games in particular are they winning. Gee, you know I've said on your show, and I've been asked this question, are the Cowboys Super Bowl favorites? Should they be the favorite? No, I've said no to that question consistently on this show since we started working together. The problem with the Dallas Cowboys is this.
What is it?
Always unknowns. And we know,
you've been listening to Swaggo, you've been listening to my show, man, I promise you. But since you was talking about the unknowns, you know.
Well, what I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns, but there's also unknown unknowns, things we don't know that we don't know. Simply because you don't have evidence that something does exist does not mean that you have evidence that something doesn't exist.
Stephen A. jokes about it, and he talks about it a lot, and it really gets on my nerves as a Cowboy fan and a former Cowboy and Cowboy fans all over the world that I talk to that message me. But the reality is, when he talks about the part of things seemingly to always go wrong, that's been the story.
I hate when people say that. I hate it to the core. And it is what it is. And I always have to put things in proper perspectives. If I say this, or if I said this, and I haven't been on this planet for 75 years, but if I had a time machine and go back 76 years ago and start my channel and said, hey, it would be like on a black and white reel or what have you, and said those Cardinals, whether or not they are in St. Louis or Arizona, what can go wrong will go wrong, and they are an accident waiting to happen. Law Nation would be right for 75 years. And if I can sit back and have a TV station to look into the camera and say, what can go wrong will go wrong, and it will rain one day this year, I'm right. I can make you guys a bet right now that before this month is over, it will rain somewhere. If I say that every day, or if I say that every month, guess what? I'm right. The same could be said about the Lions, the Chargers, the Bills, the Browns, the Falcons, the Bengals for 55 years. Now it's 56 years. They've been to how many Super Bowls? 2 or 3? And I can literally say, don't matter. I can be 1,000,000% right now at this point and say, it don't matter how good their quarterback or how great their running back situation may be. But what can go wrong will go wrong, and I would absolutely be right for 55 years, now 56 years. Stephen A. Smith capitalized off of that saying, and you can really use that for all of the NFL teams. Matter of fact, since 19 of 99, just the team that just won the Super Bowl last year, the LA Rams, by the way, I could have been right for 20 years of saying, hey, man, those Rams, they won it with the greatest show on turf. Yeah, that's good. But they are an accident waiting to happen. Watch me. Trust and believe. And I, Law Nation, would have been right for over 20 years. Let that sink in. Eric Mack says Stephen A. is right. Right. And the sun will rise tomorrow. I'm right too. Right? Hey, and it's going to rain somewhere on this planet. It's going to rain. Mark my words. I guarantee you, you can book it. that it's going to rain somewhere. Somebody is going to get robbed in the next hour or so. Mark my words.
Thief! Stop! Thief! Come back, thief!
Till you find consistency enough 1, 2, 3 seasons in a row, we shouldn't be talking about the Cowboys winning no Super Bowl. We've come on this show every damn year and said the Cowboys have enough talent to win Super Bowls, to make deep playoff runs. It has not happened. And last year, it had a lot to do with the coach, but it also had a lot to do with how that team performed. Until they show some consistency against teams that really matter and win a lot, then we can have a different conversation. The Cowboys are winning games they supposed to win, and every now and then winning the ones that they not, per se.
Per se. Look, Swagoo, man, we really appreciate you, Swagoo, for all that you do for the community and everything with the Cowboys. But let me tell y'all a little secret, and of course the Mandela effect is in its process right now. But hear me out, Cowboy Nation. They don't do any segments on the Eagles, the Washington team, the Giants. It's only the Cowboys. They don't do any segments on the Rams, who just won the freaking Super Bowl. The Jets, the Falcons, they don't talk about those teams. So, of course, the levels of expectations will always be high over here on Cowboys land. It is. And when you don't meet those expectations for north of 20 years, you use them as the punching bag. You just use them for the punching bag. I mean, think about this. Let this sink into your mind. The Broncos literally flying under the radar in their respective conference. No one knows what they're working on. Hell, Jerry Jeudy got into a jam, right? He got into a weird jam, and it's now over the heads, right? There's no news of, hey, he had to have some truth to it, so we're gonna suspend you at least for one game. No, none of that. None of that. He was arrested, and they kind of dropped the charges, what have you. But had that been a Dallas Cowboy player, that would have been multiple networks saying, hey, should they really have him on the team? You are known by the company you keep, just like they're doing with Kelvin Joseph. But and of course, Kelvin Joseph's situation is higher. But there have been situations throughout the NFL similar that get swept under the rug. And the only reason why people know Kelvin Joseph's situation and scenario is because he played for the Cowboys. Literally. Because he played for the Cowboys. I recall a guy by the name of, was it Stallworth or what have you, playing in the NFL, literally. And he was the cost of said, passing away of someone, But that's a story of a different day. Cowboy Nation, appreciate you. I appreciate you. They all spoken that bammer.
We'll see what they're able to do. In the meantime, Jerry Jones always makes it interesting. Let me leave that there for the moment. Speaking of interesting, a very special guest has just joined our studio, and he has brought with him a very special piece.
All right, they ain't talking about that anymore, Cowboy Nation. And the situation and scenario with Deshaun Watson, he settled out for millions of dollars for 20 of the 24 ladies that accused him of salacious massages, requests, what have you, whatever it may be. But 4 of the other ladies are still out there. They are not willing to accept the settlement. Now, I think the settlement, and I don't have the raw numbers right in front of me, but it was anywhere between $3 to $4 million. and settlement's always weird to me. It's like, did he touch you? Yeah, he touched me, and I want to sue because he touched me. Did you like it? Yeah, I liked it, but I want to sue because he touched me. Are you willing to drop it if I give you $3 million? Yeah, I can drop it. It don't really matter that much. Meaning that it didn't matter that much in the first place. If it mattered, it wouldn't be any amount of money. If you didn't like it, right? You'd be like, nah, I want this man to pay for his crime. He touched me inappropriately, and I want this man to pay. But $3-4 million, I think that I can settle with that. That means that those ladies, those 20 ladies, they was about the money from the beginning. They was about the money. That's just how it is. Because if you guys is watching right now, settled out or sold out. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, that's just the reality of it. Them women. Oh, he got $230 million. It's going to be more because people looking at this settlement. Watch, it's going to be 15 to 20 more. Yo, he touched me too. it might be even some rainbow correlations. Some sweet guys come out. Hey, he touched me too. It will be some guys come out because they looking at it like, hey, they shelling out money and they willing to settle. Shoot, and don't want to drag this out any further. Shoot. I know somebody right now in the chat talking about, hey, he might have touched me too. $3-4 million. Can't even be rich to get, if I'm Deshaun Watson, it's like, man, why you carrying this paper? This is the NDA agreement. Here's for you. And here's one for you. I want it signed before you even be in the same room with me for more than 3 to 4 minutes. That's just what it is. But the other 4 ladies, they ain't looking for the settlement. They looking for more. They looking for some coins. Miss Me Too movement. Right off civil suits on your. Hey, here's Eric Mack says, write off civil suits on your taxes. 3 to 4, you right on it, baby. Hey. It is what it is. It is what it is with that. And I'm not. I always got to clear this up because we live in this PC environment. I'm not taking or talking light of that situation, but I am. But I'm not taking light or talking light of that situation. For if he's a guy that pursued these young ladies and left alone in that room, and he's forcing them to do happy endings or touch where they don't want to be touched at, or he touch them where he shouldn't be touching that those situations need to be looked upon. Right? But I said all of this to say, Cowboy Nation, the whole point of Ezekiel Elliott's suspension, and I'm not snitching and saying, hey, man, if you suspend Ezekiel Elliott, man, you should suspend this dude too, man. An eye for an eye. I'm not saying that. But due to the latter of the ruling of conduct unbecoming and tarnishing the shield, the name, the brand, as a reasonable citizen of these United States, I'm quite sure that over 20 cases of someone accusing you of touching feelings and expecting happy endings should be suspended. They should be. The Kraft treatment. Yup. And that's just how it goes, because I can't find a mugshot of Ezekiel Elliott. Let me knock on wood, right? I do hear testimony from a text message from said lady that Ezekiel Elliott allegedly did these things too, stated that she is going to get him suspended by lying on him. And said testimony from her was removed as a total investigation piece because Roger Goodell seeked blood and said, no, I'm still going to suspend this guy after the investigator said that I see no fault in said Ezekiel Elliott. But, you know, it is what it is. Shout out to you, Kevin. Appreciate you. 5,000 big ones. Yeah, appreciate you. They did Zeke so dirty, man. Oh, my gosh, man. Thrill is gone. Appreciate you. Pick up the phone. Appreciate you. What if Jerry was just shooting his shot so that he just a habitual shot shooter? Yeah. This is from Ryder. You talking about on the Sean Payton's fiasco? Yeah. I think that he was just shooting his shot. I think he was. Of always letting people know of things. Paul says, why females with an S gotta be so scandalous at at times, laughing out loud. Some are, and $3.4 million right now. Let me see if I got my thing up right here. Let's see. Appreciate everybody for jumping in. I think I kind of, I got Jesse Holly. Good guy, man. Please go follow my guy. 20 out of the 24, which means the other 4 is on the way. But the NFL is going to next up, right? 6 games, 8 games, 10 games, the whole season. I think anywhere between 8 and 10 games. This is from Jesse Holly, and I kind of retweeted that one. Yeah, so that's why this is my stance on it. And you guys can go back and forth on how you feel about it. That's why I say the NFL should stay out of it. I get it, the Ray Rice situation and scenario, but they should stay out of any of these things that happen. Any of these things that happen, the NFL need to look at it and say, whatever the court of law presents, that is what we're going to roll by, and that's what we stand by. The court of law. Because when you start having your individual mindsets to it and your interpretations of what could have happened or what sullies or what bad for the shield or what have you, and then it comes out that that person is innocent, you can't put the toothpaste back in. You can't put the toothpaste back into the tube at that point. You can't. Ezekiel Elliott would never get those 6 to 7 games that he missed in his youth, in his prime. He can't get those games back. He can't. But when you step and you stand in as it relates to individual persons or feelings about certain things, it sullies and it muddies the waters, especially about these guys in their youth. Can't never get that back. Who knows? We all know that it takes 1 or 2 games to sway the momentum. Football is a cycling sport. Law, do you have any truth on that? Yeah. Last season, if we win 1 more game, we have the best game. Well, no, we will be tied, right? We will be tied for the best record in the NFC. Period, right? So that is the nature of football. It's such a sport that all it takes is 1 player to be missing, 1 game to be out of it, right? Earlier when I opened up the stream, I talked about the fact that the LA Rams were looking at it, that they would do anything and everything to win the game. So that's why they went and got Deshaun Jackson, right? But midway through the season, they released Deshaun Jackson, right? Because he wasn't a complete fit for them. The Raiders were looking at it like, shoot, we'll pick him up because I think they had an injury to one of their wide receivers. And just like that, Jackson made a pivotal play when we played them in that Thanksgiving game. Don't you think even if the Cowboys were playing keep away and they were the ones to pick up Deshaun Jackson, we probably win that game, right? That's how crazy, because he did make a big play. And he said, My leg. Deshaun Jackson is good for 3 to 4 plays out of, or 3 to 4 games out of a year. And that's my whole sentiments on if the kicker make his kick, the Cowboys could have been the number 1 seed. They could have had a week off. Who knows? Fresh and reloaded. They might not got a chance to play the 49ers. You see how it's how football is? One game can change the entire complexity. That's why football is different from basketball. Right? We're just going to go all the way to the finals. The Celtics versus the Warriors. Who won game 1? Who won game 1, the Celtics or the Warriors? Y'all let me know. I think the Celtics won. One play changes everything. Who won game 1? Y'all let me know because I don't follow basketball that closely. Yeah, I'm waiting for somebody to put that. Boston. Okay. Appreciate you, Thomas. If basketball had NFL rules right now, this is how it would have been. The 2022 NBA championship title goes to the Boston Celtics. They are your NBA champs. Right? If they played, if basketball was like football, sudden death, your Boston Celtics would be the champions. It would be the champs. You see how that goes? In football, it's literally, you can't have an off night, baby. It's not the best out of. It's one and you're done. So that's the best way to look at it. It's no, I'm going to line them up 3 out of the 5 or 5 out of, best out of 7, best out of 5. No. You got one shot at football. Basketball, you got multiple tries. Even the best team have a higher chance and a higher percentage to win. And then to take under the account that you play your games at your house, and you play some of the games at the opponent's house. Football is not built to be like that, though, right? That's why I say these games in football, they count a lot. They mean a lot. So we may not have the time frame to wait for someone to develop. Right? So that's why, and I know a third of you guys is like, no, Will Fuller, no, Law, he's injury prone. He's injury prone, Law. You cannot sell. And then see, then people like, that's the problem with the Cowboys. They go after these injury prone players. But all it takes is one game. All it takes is one game to get you over necessary hump there. And I'm not saying that just because you go grab a Will Fuller that all of your problems, all of your worries, all of your chances would not be still presented in front of you. No, I'm not saying that. No. Don't get it twisted, Cowboy Nation. But what I'm saying is collectively, I'm trying to win at all costs. I don't have time for to be looking down the line, someone way at the bottom end for them to develop, for them to get their act together. No, I'm not. I'm definitely not. I'm greedy. I want to win now. And even if that guy, you bring him in and he go, my knee. In the third quarter on the 4th game of the season. At least we won game 1 and game 2. You know, that's why I'm looking at it. That's how I'm looking at it, Cowboy Nation. I'm not finna sit around and wait for someone else to prove that they are worthy of being on this stage. You know how they prove it? Yeah, in practice right now. They better go out there and prove it now. That's the only way. And they will still have it even if you bring in a veteran. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, Cowboy Nation. That's how I'm looking at it. Now, we do have, let me pull up this right here. We do have the chances and opportunity, Cowboy Nation, for some of these guys to step up and be up. And I'm not saying that any of these guys won't be able to do that. Look at CeeDee Lamb. He got a lot on his plate. But let's look at my guy right here. I did a film review on him earlier. Cowboys really like TJ Vasher. I really like him too. 21 touchdowns, nothing to sneeze at. And when I'm out there, while everybody else was watching something else, I said, let me look at some of the things that no one else is looking at. And I was looking at TJ Vasher last year. Everybody else looking at all of the other wide receivers on the other side of the field. But I said I wanted to see what makes him so important. Now, he dropped that ball. We ain't going to hold him to that. But they worked with him. They have an inkling to know that this guy can be a difference maker for them. And the reason why he's not moving at 100% right now, he had a leg injury. But they literally worked with TJ Vasher. And I said, man, that dude running like a gazelle, boy. Look how the long stride. And I was thinking that this kid right here, if you pay close attention to it, 6'6", he went from 206, literally, frail. You blow him, he fall over, break his kneecap or such, right? Now he's right at 230 something. He gained some weight. I said, man, going into his second year now, he can legitimately be a threat. Kevin says, is it true Vasher having problems with the playbook? What playbook? What playbook? I'm only going to send this man on some posts. I'm not going to send him on no comeback, some fades, some sevens, some flag routes. Look, you got to figure out a way to utilize his mismatches. You do. You do. And for those who didn't catch my film assessment that I did last year, newsflash, TJ can block. He can flat out block. He's a grinder's addition. And that's even if when he was 212, you blow him down. Let the bridges falling down, right? He needs some milk. TJ needed a sandwich, man. But now he don't need all of that.
He needs some milk.
But here's my thing is, Cowboy Nation, if we going to utilize him, and if we hit him all last year, right? Nose the ball, catch the ball with your hands, you drop it. Hey, you need to work on those hands. You can't drop me one. You owe me 15 push-ups. He wears number 16 now, I believe. First one he dropped, that's okay. That's okay. But neither here nor there. TJ, I really believe, now he's bigger than this picture right here this last year, so he gained a little bit more pounds, so you may see him a little bit bigger now, Cowboy Nation, those who are watching. But I really believe that the Cowboys really need to give this kid a chance and opportunity. But he can't drop it. And on top of that, we can't be looking at this thing saying, all right, we got TJ. We no longer need to bring in a veteran. No, I'm trying to not make it comfortable for him. All right, and that was last year. Of course, you see Amari Cooper running around over there. But you guys get what I'm saying. Those are the things that you need to work on, Cowboy Nation. I thought Kellen Moore just tell the receivers, just get open. No. Look, man, I'm not gonna bust all over on Kellen Moore. Once again, like I said before, with Kellen Moore, I think the world of Kellen Moore. The Pro Football Focus have him second ranked as it relates to offensive play caller, which I think that they are capping, by the way. But one thing I'm going to tell you guys about Kellen Moore, I think the world of him, but I think that there's a levels to his plan, a coaching plan, coaching play calling that he's going to have to eventually get to. And like I said last night, for those who watch Boss Cowboys, the big time show, and as well as Coach Simmons, who is the quote-unquote wide receiver coach for CeeDee Lamb, is this right here. We know we had to go through some growing pains. And that old broom can sweep the floor good, right? As well as get the corners. And we can only hope that Kellen Moore is becoming that old broom that can get those corners. Never talked about drops so much with Romo. This is from Dustin D. Drops were there with this team. We had multiple guys with drops. We had multiple guys running wrong routes. What we didn't talk about during the Romo era was defenses, right? Defenses being top tier, what have you, and that's what we're hoping, that this team can develop a concept on the defensive side to be consistent. And that's just the bottom line. And then on top of that, with the drop aspect, Dez Bryant, I believe in 2013, that was his coming out party, right? He had like 13 drops, right? But what I don't want people, and hear me out, Jamar Chase had 11 to 12 drops last season, right? Debo had 12 drops, 4 fumbles last season. Justin Jefferson had 9 drops last season. I'm only going off the top of my head. You guys can double check it if you want. I'm right on the money with it. What I'm trying to say is, don't allow the drops to dictate the attempts, the targets. You go drop. Success is failure turned inside out. So my thing is, you got to be able to continue. If he drop it, dog it. If he drop it, target your playmaker. Look, I don't want people to worry more about the drops than the levels of production that you can actually get. Right? I don't want people, because it goes all the way back to 2007. Patrick Creighton dropped the ball. Everybody remember that in the playoffs. And that's what everybody talked about after the playoff was done and said and over with. But if you go back and watch the game, that drop occurred in the third quarter. You had a whole nother quarter to go back and win the game. It's about understanding that, yeah, you're going to have your drops in life. You're going to fall. You're going to come short of your goal. And then on top of that, there's people that drop some opportunities right now. That just meant that opportunity wasn't really for you. You looking to go through the door for your opportunity. And sometimes the grand creator is saying, I don't want you to go through the door. I got a window for you to go through. It's going to be a little harder, but I'm going to put you right where the sweet stuff is at when you come out on top of it. right? I want you guys to understand this. I don't care if it's one people watching. Success happens in private, failure in full view. Right now, all of these guys that play for the Dallas Cowboys, the one that's hungry and determined to get something done, he is working on his catches. He's working on his routes. He's sweating out there into triple heats. He's making sure what he put into his body that is positive, whether it's the information from the 4-ladder network, 3-ladder network, or from Ashanika and Pooga and Ray Ray, and what he eating. He's making sure I'm only going to receive the positive information. I get it. The negative stuff right now is going to go in one ear and out because I'm not going to store that. I'm only going to store the positives. I'm not going to drink any Kool-Aid. I'm not going to eat no toaster strudels. No. Comparing front office, appreciate you comparing Lamb to guys like Jefferson and Cup tells you he is a number one wide receiver. Front office, appreciate you. Right? I don't like using Tolbert as a punt returner. Use Chamberlain or Wanye. Someone can afford to lose it if he get hurt. Yeah, I feel exactly what you're saying. No Kool-Aid, right? Kool-Aid in the connotations of it being bad for you. And I really appreciate you so much. Let's go with D Shift, man. What's good, man? You live, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, what's up, Law? Just a quick question for you, Law. Like,
talk to me, man.
So when Cooper left, that mean nobody else can get better? Like CeeDee Lamb, that's it. He can't get better. He just stuck in year 2 CD, huh?
Oh, I see your angle on that. He's demanding. He's demanded to get better. He perceived that he's going to get better. So yeah, I do believe that wide receivers can get better when the other wide receiver leave.
I mean, we kind of in the era where, wide receivers are expected to come in and get 1,000 yards, but this hasn't been a thing for very long. I go back 10 years ago. If your rookie wide receiver came in and got you 900 yards, you projecting this guy to be a perennial Pro Bowler.
Right.
So when you talk about what CD came in and did in the 16-game season with Andy Dalton,
right,
and last year what he did coming in and he did that in 15 and a half games.
Yeah.
Because he was out that Kansas City game and missed that Las Vegas game.
Yeah. Now I get what you're saying, and I see your angle with that. The expectations for CeeDee Lamb to become better is already there, right? That he's going to be better. The expectations.
Hey, as soon as he put that star in his helmet.
Right. So who's the wide receiver opposite of Justin Jefferson?
Adam Thielen.
He had 10 touchdowns last season. I think he had close to 1,000 yards as well.
Okay.
Does that help or do that take away from Justin Jefferson?
I mean, it all goes into the fact that if you look at it, if you add another layer to it, and that's the Vikings make the playoffs.
That would help out. So what? This is my angle. T. Higgins is good. He's just as good. Now, Jamar Chase is on a whole nother level of T. Higgins, but T. Higgins is just as good, right? 6'4.5" wide receiver. So that helps Justin. That helps Jamar Chase. It doesn't take away.
And I mean, if you ask where do you rank T. Higgins amongst just wide receivers in general, and my only question, like when you talk about CeeDee Lamb, like you still have a number one receiver, and like you've seen other teams Like with a Cooper Kupp, and they don't have they don't have a A.J. Brown playing. They don't have a CeeDee Lamb playing. You know, Cooper Kupp had Van Jefferson, you know.
Cooper Kupp had now Van Jefferson. I like his abilities, man.
Good, you know,
he slept on a lot,
Higby,
right? Yeah.
Van Jefferson again. He's not in that tier, right? I guess my ultimate point is having that tier. So when you look at what you got in your guys right now, like I argue, like last year you immediately lost Gallup, so you had CeeDee, Coop, and a third guy, you know. So this year you have CeeDee. Now, of course, you don't have the level of what you had in Coop, but you still have two other guys, you know, until Gallup gets back. So you pretty much have almost the same thing. Now, I'm not going to say Cooper is like they're by far no way they're near Cooper, but you still have a piece that there's only something like regardless of it, if you double team a wide receiver, you put, you know, your best cornerback on him, you still got to put a guy, you know?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, these teams you're playing, like, you still have legitimate wideouts playing a second cornerback, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, the plan, and every team don't have a shutdown cornerback.
Well, every team don't have a shutdown cornerback, but here's my truths on this. The Cowboys was the only team that took away from their better receiver, right? If Lamb is projected to be if Lamb is projected to be the number one, the Cowboys the only team that said, you know what, he's our number one, but what we're gonna do now is take away from our number one.
I think in all essence, your number two took a downgrade. Your number two spot took a little downgrade.
So what you're saying is Cooper was the quote unquote number two receiver?
No. I think Cooper was respected more as the number one.
Right.
Because, you know, the production doesn't show that, right?
Right.
Cooper was he took on number one attention. I don't know we don't know what Lamb and Schultz's numbers would have looked like without a Cooper. Now, granted, we saw that against who? We saw it against the Chiefs. It wasn't too well, but the Chiefs were playing out of their mind in that game, the defense.
Right.
And then we saw it against Las Vegas, which they still put around 30 points on an NFL team, you know,
right.
without Lamb and Cooper.
Dang, you sure right. Without Lamb and Coop, man. Dang, he just hit me. Yeah, you're right. With Noah Brown and Cedric Wilson. Right.
And I could argue, like, you know, Lamb is still a legitimate number one. Like, if you're saying, if we're feeling like to be successful moving forward, we got to have two number one wide receivers, because we say we're good on every other area, right? We always talk about, you know, we're good with the Gregory, we're good with Collins. The thing that comes back constantly is Cooper. But I'm just, in the Cooper case, you know, there was only really two games you saw him without Lamb and Cooper, and that one game without Coop. And one could argue, Dak had a very bad wide receiver situation before Cooper got here. You know, it was
terrible, man. That was the year that even Terrence Williams, he didn't get a chance to play those first few games. You know why? That was
the
DUI. Yeah,
he got DUI on the hoverboard.
On the hoverboard, on the bike, or what have you. So they were already they was doomed, because shout out to my guy Cole Beasley, but he was the leading wide receiver heading into that season.
Yeah, and just in the level where Dak was at, what was that, his third year?
Third year.
Dak's far and away better than his third year. And I think the mentality is that you started seeing Dak put up those 5,000-yard seasons when Coop got here, and so now that he's gone, it's like, oh, he can't do it anymore. And I don't see how. I'm just looking at, you know, the schedule is going to be what it is, right? I guess the ultimate argument is when you play those better teams. But it's just other parts of the ball that are like I'm real confident in. And I still think in your wide receiver room, you still have legitimate receivers. Like,
let me ask you this though,
you know,
and just using this as an example, who's better, Van Jefferson or Cedric Wilson?
I mean, I honestly haven't watched too much of Van Jefferson. I can just go look at the stats and of course, I think I looked at it a little while back, and Cooper Kupp by far was just blowing the whole team away. And if Van Jefferson was so good, well, I ain't gonna say that, but I can't really say. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, let me just say this: he had 50. He had just as amount. He had just the close of amount of yards that Amari Cooper had last season, and he was like the third or fourth option. Van Jefferson had 50 receptions, 802 yards, and 6 touchdowns last season. Now, if we can get, hear me out, Cowboy Nation, put the butter knife down. Cowboy Nation, put it down. If we can get Jalen Tolbert to have 50 receptions, 802 yards, and 6 touchdowns, would that be considered a good pickup for us? As far as production-wise or what have you?
I mean, I think it's very doable. I don't think you're too far out of line, Law, because I mean, you don't know what you're gonna get from James Washington,
right?
So I mean, Jalen Tolbert, he's not gonna. CeeDee Lamb's gonna still be there to take care of all, of everything. Take all the attention, have that expectation. So ultimately, Jalen Tolbert, he's gonna get open and he's gonna get numbers like that. Dak is, to me, is still going to be putting up 300-yard games. So it's like somebody's going to get those yards.
Big facts. Somebody.
And somebody's going to get those yards. I can understand if you're talking about Davis Mills throwing to, I don't know, whoever their third wide receiver is on the Texans,
I don't even know.
You talking about, Dak, Dak Prescott. He's throwing like he's a numbers machine,
Yeah.
And part of what we've been asking for as a fan base is to kind of come away from those numbers. So you can throw that into the factor if it's the 800 yards you're gonna miss from Cooper, you can throw in the fact that we're gonna be kind of moving away from our pass game a little bit to make that run
to get back
game
to
more
to the run game. Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways to be a productive offense and come back from that Niners game. Don't have 14 penalties.
Right.
That's a good start too. So, all right, Law, man, good talking to you, man.
Man, all the time, man. Appreciate you so much for jumping in. I thought I was gonna go without a call today, man. Appreciate you, man.
Nah, I'm gonna hold you down, Law.
Appreciate you so much, man. That's a good call for him. I love when people call in, man. He had some great points, and we wasn't arguing, but he was pointing out that, like, hey, without Amari Cooper, do you guys feel that CeeDee Lamb, would he be better? Can he still improve? And every year, I believe CeeDee Lamb is going to improve. I got my note right here. I got my little cheat note right here, is that I'm literally saying that CeeDee Lamb, he's going for the touchdown record. I got him going right here on my list as it relates to the yards, what have you. He's going for at least 1,300 plus yards and over 117 receptions. I think 116 is the Cowboys' total receptions. No receiver caught more than 116 catches in 1 year. I think Jason Witten holds the record, I believe, 116. You guys let me know of that, and we hope that this can happen this year. And not saying that you got to force it, because the philosophy of Kellen Moore is to use everyone. Let me read some of your comments, Cowboy Nation. Really appreciate you. Nah, Tolbert will eat. Remember this. It's from Suave TV. So you projecting that Tolbert will have – can you give me your projections of Tolbert's number please put it in the chat below. I want Tolbert to be successful, by the way. But if Tolbert can give you, like I said, Van Jefferson's number, not Justin Jefferson, Van Jefferson, 50 receptions, 805 yards or what have you, and 6 touchdowns, we won't be looking at that like, that's a wash, right? No, we're going to look at that like, hey, man, that's a good season for a rookie, right? Especially that we picked up in the 3rd round. And let me see what Cedric Wilson. I don't think Cedric Wilson had 800 yards. I think he had like 600 some yards. Let me see what Cedric had. And I appreciate everybody for jumping in. Thank everybody for being part of this conversation right now. All right, my guy Cedric Wilson, he had 45 receptions, 602 receiving yards, and 6 touchdowns or what have you. And then, of course, we knew that he threw the ball. They don't have this stat as a readable stat for me. But 800 yards and 8 touchdowns, A.J. Boomer. Oh, my God, man, I'm throwing a parade. And for those 8 touchdowns, we're going to go crazy over here, right? 62 catches for 600 yards. That will be a lot of short stuff, right? Because if I'm looking at it, if Cedric was able to get, and I'm just using quick math right here, my guy, is it Muta Kibi? I murdered your name. If Cedric was able to get, let me make it visible for everyone. That would help out, right? Make it visible for everyone. If Cedric was able to get 45 receptions for 602 yards, shoot, an extra 10 to 20 receptions, he would have had more yards, right? If I'm just doing the quick math. And we know that Cedric Wilson didn't start every game, right? But I feel what you're saying. 62 receptions for 600 yards, that wouldn't be bad at all. Those touchdowns will come when we are down by 21 points. This is from Eric Mack. I don't think that the Cowboys will be down that much, especially 21 points, unless all of a sudden Parsons forget how to sack, Diggs forget how to cover, right? And this front forget how to even play football. I think that this defense, and Malik Hooker, please, guys, don't forget about Malik Hooker. And it is what it is. I just don't think that the team will be down and out for all of those points. Keep in mind, even if you go back, hear me out, Cowboy Nation, even if you go back to the 2020 season, we're in the thick of some of those games. We're in the thick of it. Yeah, Dak Prescott had to come back in some of those games, and you might want to throw around garbage time stat, but there are stat lines that's out there that debunk that theory, but neither here nor there. The defense was terraforming into a whole different defense. And Mike Nolan is the reason why Mike Nolan is not on nobody team calling defenses now, right? So we are a ways from that aspect of being down for those many points. And especially with Dan Quinn under his philosophy and scheme, I don't see that we will be down by that many points. But this is the unknown, right? The known knowns and the known unknowns, but it is what it is.
The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
Right. Somebody said, Mike Nolan, who? Same old Cowboy fans that make the league hate us. They think we the best at everything. And when someone throws real content to the convo, they talk smack. This is from Cowboy Nation. Can you elaborate a little bit? I don't know what you're talking about. I think, look, literally, I think that I'm objective with my stance on the Cowboys. I really do. I think that this team got some holes that they need to fix as it relates to offensive line, because that's something that we don't know. I think that we need some help as it relates to wide receiver. I can tell you guys right now that James Washington could be the answer, but that would be me reaching for straws. I can tell you the intangible versus the tangibles. But the tangible aspect of it is that James Washington never caught over 44 passes in 1 year, right? James Washington, let me pull up Van Jefferson for those who are wondering what I was reading when I pull up his stat line for your mind. And pull up Van Jefferson. James Washington never had a season like this, by the way. 50 receptions, 802 yards, and 6 touchdowns. But to James Washington defense, he never had Matt Stafford, right, throwing him the ball. So those are ways that we got to look into this. But it won't be a hard stretch for me to say I got reservations because I haven't seen James Washington catch one pass in a Cowboys uniform. I haven't seen him, And 24 receptions last season, that was his deal there. And it's not fair to James because of his quarterback situation, right? But who am I? Who am I to say, that he got an opportunity to showcase his talent and put out what he can and can't do, right? But let's go back to 2020, 30 receptions. 2019 was his best season ever. 44 receptions, 735 yards, 3 touchdowns. Outside of that, outside of that's all he generated. That was his rookie year. I believe 18 was his rookie year. Yeah, 18 was his rookie year. So what we're expecting is for James Washington, to get out there and make something happen. And I'm not doubting the man. Who knows? He can turn it on and probably, as they say, for 105.3, the fan, and leave it on. We hope. We living in the realms of hope. And that's all I'm saying. Cowboy Nation. Shout out to you, Sally Lawyer. You won this hat, by the way, and we really appreciate you. I'm going to shoot you a message on my lawnationsports.com inbox for your address to mail that hat off to you this week. And I really appreciate you so much, Sally. I thank everybody for watching this particular episode. Thank everyone. Look, I went a little longer. Because for the majority of this show, a lot of people said they didn't get the notification bell, right? And it was only like 60 people watching for a long time, But I really appreciate the 60 that was watching, and that let me know that you guys are here with the nation regardless. My guy Jay Form, appreciate you. He says, Law Nation, pay attention to Joe Philbin this year. I can see them pulling a Frank Pollock on him. Ooh. Let me hit it again. I will be at the Star on Friday, Jay. I know that you said that you won't be there, but, I will be at the Star on Friday. We got an event there, and if you are there in the area, man, I know if you're at work, man, you step out, wave at me, man. Let's meet up if possible. And Cowboy Nation, I really appreciate you guys so much for tuning in and being part of this episode. Aaron says Dak, number 1 QB, better than any others, right? And I get it, man. Shout out to all of the people, man, the detractors too, saying I've read it. I like to read at least 10 pages a day, Cowboy Nation, and I read it where people say Jalen Hurts, the best quarterback in this division. If they want that cookie for that, then let them have it. Let's not fight over nonsense, right? Far as, my guy, Big Game James, I think he did a quarterback ranking, and he got Dak Prescott like 10 or 11, right? That's Big Game James. And he got Justin Herbert up there, way at like 3 or 4 or something like that. I can't recall off the top of my head. Based off of 2 years. What is Herbert been in the league for 2 years or 3? Y'all let me know. So, it's not people have their rankings, right? But head-to-head, Dak Prescott beat Justin Herbert, right? He had his weapons. Literally, Justin Herbert threw 3 interceptions in that game, right? They called one back. They said it was a defensive pass interference. It really was 3 interceptions in that game. But that's a story of a different day, right? I get it. Those guys go to their respective divisions. 2 years. 2 years. Look, in 2 years, Justin Herbert and Joe Burrows already Trump. Not Donald, but Trump. Dak Prescott. You know, it is what it is. So I get it. You know, people have their rankings. People have their situations. And people have their thought line for their mind about this team. And I'm not here to change no one's mindset on how they rank players or what have you. I'm not here to do that. No, we don't do that here. But it is what it is. Let's see how all of these things work out together. I've seen people create storylines about Jalen Hurts, you know, just going into his third year, right? This is his third year. And people saying, wait for his third year. You know, Jalen Hurts is going to prove to everyone wrong. You know, it is what it is. Law, stop with the rankings. It don't mean jack. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't care if people put Dak Prescott number 15, number 20, but you can't present 5 quarterbacks with more wins than him right now, right? And that is the number one stat that I'm looking for, is the wins. I want my quarterback to win. And I believe we got us a quarterback that dominate the NFC East. And now that we got some stability going with this defense, continuity, I think Dak Prescott would still do that in the NFC East. Is get into the playoff. One playoff win, I get it. A lot of people will contextualize that as a horrible situation. One playoff win in 6 years. But I recall there's a quarterback that just won the Super Bowl. He didn't even have one in 10 years. And now he's able to lift the Lombardi trophy. It took that kid 13 years. Whole different team, but they got weapons and they put it around him. So I want people to understand it's not how you start, baby. It's about how you finish. You got to stay level-headed and focused. And of course, we got to hope that everyone else can be on the same page. This is going into Kellen Moore's 4th year. Mike McCarthy, there should be a wake-up call to let everybody, mama, uncle, cousin know that he's not even the favorite coach in the city of Dallas, or in the state of Texas, or in these United States. There's a better way to say it. I cover everything. Or this planet. And now I really covered everything. That Jerry Wayne Jones, he still have that love affair for Sean Payton. He do. But it's all about focusing your mind to it, baby. It is. And this team heading into this offseason still got to prepare their mindset. Remember what I said. Write this down. Success happens in private, failure in full view. Everyone can see you when you fall, but nobody see you when you grind. When you putting back the time to elevate yourself. And if you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time and your peace and your sleep for it. If all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you hold all of the things tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you will gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, and plan for it, and lose all terror of your mind for it. If dogged and grim, and besieged and beset it, with the help of Almighty, Cowboy Nation, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Trayvon Diggs, who PFL finally seen the tape that we saw, said that he was the best DB on man-to-man coverage. You see, a lot of people can't see what you are doing until after they see it again. And a lot of people don't know how to do it until they try to do it. It may seem easy to most, but when you roll up your sleeves and get out there, you realize, baby, it ain't. And that's where we at. You see, I pulled up this thing earlier just to prove a point that a lot of people thought that you win the Super Bowl every year. You see, multiple teams been 75 years, 65 years, right? Their fan bases are not saying they're going to jump ship, which some of them did, right? They're still grinding it out with their team. I want to know if you guys are still grinding it out with this team. I don't see us on that list there, I say. But I'm telling you guys right now, from my mouth to your ears, that when we lift that Lombardi trophy, how good the feeling of the joy it would be to know that we never faltered. We never were like those fickle fans. We never hid ourselves behind the bushes. We never looked at this situation and said, man, I wish I was a Cardinals fan. Oh, I wish I was a Bengals fan. No, we still here grinding together. Win, lose, or draw. That's the definition of a diehard fan. let me rewind just a little bit. I had Louis T jumping on my Twitter saying that even his dad is a diehard Cowboy fan, would have selected Barry Sanders over Emmitt Smith. I come here to tell you that his dad, as long as he been a Cowboy fan, which is good, that's the difference between being a Cowboy fan for a long time than being a diehard fan. Those are two different guys. One is just being casual. The diehard is a person that look at this situation and said, that's my guy. I'm not looking for any other horse in this race. That's my dog. And I come here to tell y'all right now, the casual fans, just because you've been a fan for a long time doesn't equate that you are a diehard fan. Law, do you have any information and revelations? I'm speaking to y'all right now. Law, do you have any truth to what you're saying? Listen to the greatness that's leaving out of my mouth to your ears. If you have a child, a son or a daughter, you won't look at your said son or daughter and say, I will trade them away for Beyonce's kid. I will trade them away for another person's child, because you believe in the hearts of hearts that that's your baby. That's the same love and affections that diehard fans have for their players. They don't really scurry and run off from the casual ambiguities of life. They say that this is my team. This is my soldier, ride or die. I don't care about the ifs, ands, or buts about it, because this right here is the team that's hosting up the Lombardi Trophy with the people that I believe that's wearing the silver and blue. So we don't have to put in if Jerry Rice was a Cowboy player. No. We don't have to put in if Megatron. No. We talking about the guys that's here. Right? So that is what a diehard fan is. And there's nothing to the casuals. There's no shade or salt thrown to the casuals, Cowboy Nation. But I can tell you guys right now as I'm spitting to you guys, the fickle fans will always be in the mix, saying that I'm always rooting for this team. But they are the ones that run at the first sight of blood. They are the ones that run when the door slams and they thinking someone else is shooting. I want to be the people. I want the Cowboy fans to be the ones that come hell and high water, that they are here and they are not disappearing. Cowboy Nation, that's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute. I'm out. Peace. The real ones only, baby. Let's go. Let's get it. There's a difference between casual fans and diehard fans, by the way. That's all I'm saying. Let's go.
Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's ice. I got wifey on bling and she ice. Freeze, photo, please, no photos. G's, no, please, no photos. Hit the door and the domain just whole team here, might need some. Still young, but I move like a new deal to my lawyer. If you're down in my management, I'm just warming up and waiting line. Old producers saw the numbers one. Different colors in my baggy light. Chalk it up, talk of the town where you're talking up. Wanna get you a ring and you tough enough. Wanna get you new things with your pockets dull. Run it up. I used to be quiet and out of luck. Now I move up and move humble cause the hate and the jealousy. My mama telling me count up your blessings and run it up. Nowadays nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's ice. I got wifey on bling and she ice. Freeze, photo, please, no photos. G's, no, please, no photos. I keep giving game away. I put game on layaway.
Nation.
I got paid to play today. I get paid to stay away. I get paid on rainy days. I might make it rain.
My guy Big A and James got Russell Wilson over Dak Prescott.
In my own lane, finger roll. I would never sell my only soul. Heard your whole team was for sale.
Shout out to Big A and James.
Who the realest, we might never know. All this acting, you gon' play a role. Give you the
at least Dak Prescott beat Russell Wilson in the playoffs. Come on.
Now you're looking hungry, ribs are touching, need some food. Now you're all on live acting surprised, but you was fooled. Boy, get out the way, it's been a day, now you're old news. Now you got the pen and pad, you're trying to take my moves. Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's ice. I got wifey on bling and she ice. Freeze, photo, please, no photos. G's, no, please, no photos. Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's ice. I got wifey on bling and she ice. Freeze, photo, please, no photos. G's, no, please, no photos.
Russ been to a chip. So that automatically qualify you to be better because you've been to a chip. Let me ask you this. Was he there because of his quarterback play or because of that defense? Let that sink in. So lead forward just a little bit. This gonna hurt you, man. You should tell me Happy Father's Day too. Listen to your daddy when he's speaking to you. Let's go. Let's get it. It's Die Hard, baby. Come on. Shout out to the HBOs and the SJs, baby.
Take a drag of my cigarette. Breathe me out, breathe you in.
Let's go. Yeah.
Take a bite of my burger, babe. Save the last bite for you. For you. Ooh. Don't let the street lights hit you all alone. You know it's dangerous to go alone.
BZ, so what you said is that the Denver Broncos will win the Super Bowl this year because you said give him the Cowboys and he'll have an easy chip. That team is loaded. They got good defense and good wide receivers. So I'm going to give you a pre-slap because I don't think the Denver Broncos are going to win the Super Bowl. Pre-slap.
7 years of the perfect love. 7 more and another one.
And another one.
And another one. I think you was the one I lost. 7 wonders.
No, you can't be. Look, I should have had the whole show just trolling you. Denver is not the Cowboys. Oh, come on.
You know it's dangerous to go alone. Don't let the street
You gonna tell mama.
Can I be your player too? I'll follow wherever you go, whatever you do.
This dude, man, now, look, I was going to end it, but I'm like slapping him now. Look. He said, I bet Cooper is not leaving Russ. It wasn't Coop's decision to leave. Now leave for right here. Get your act together, man. Go watch some football, baby.
Shame.
Oh, my gosh, man.
Shame. Shame.
Oh, my gosh, man. Come on, man. Let's put the street lights back on. The craziest thing, we had the phone lines open for about an hour. And you want to talk and type noise instead of talk noise. Come on, man.
Take a drag of my cigarette. Breathe me out, breathe you in. Yeah. Take a bite of my burger, babe. Save the last bite for
Shame. Shame.
Don't let the street lights hit you all alone.
That was easy. Execute Order 66.
BZ! You stupid.
Shots fired! Here too. I'll follow wherever you go. Whatever you do.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Hey, BZ!
Now, so the cocaine's happening. When does that crack come into play for you?
You liar!
That's roast BZ, baby.
Don't let the street lights hit you all alone.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
Dangerous to go alone.
You pray for rain, you gotta deal with the mud.
Can I be your player too? I'll follow wherever you go, whatever you do.
Shut up!
If a paper crane can fly, then forever doesn't feel that far. So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly, then forever doesn't feel that far. So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on.
Cool.
That's where the guts went. Just dropped them.
What's good, man? One love. Salute. Oh, and by the way, no personal feelings to you, BZ, man. We just taking a little aim at you, man. But there's more games than 8-8, by the way. 8-8 equals 16. There's 17 games in the season, so your math is off, just like everything else you said. Just to be fair with you. No, I'm trying to fix it now. Oh, my gosh, man. One love. Salute, man. Peace.
You have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet.